Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 11 of the Associated Wrestling Press's Second Caution. I'll be your host, Big Ten Network, ESPN, and NCAA wrestling analyst Eric Olenowski. And today we have one of the most dominant wrestlers in all of the country, not just at his weight class, but in every weight class. Do you really need an introduction? He's a two-time All-American for the University of Minnesota, currently ranked number one in the nation, undefeated on the season, coming off a championship win in the Big Ten tournament. Chris Dardanes. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, Eric.
I'm really excited about it. Thank you for doing this. It's always great to talk wrestling, and especially with someone as good as yourself. So, but before we get into the show, I just want to thank the Big Ten Network and Ohio State for giving me the opportunity to cover the Big Ten championship. So if any of you guys are watching out there, thank you guys for being class acts. So now let's get into the show. Before we get into the current wrestling that's going on right now, I just want to give people a little background information on you. High school, you win a state title at Oak Park River Forest High School in Illinois. And for those people who don't know, if they're only up with college wrestling, they don't know that Oak Park is, right now they're ranked number one in the nation. They knock off number one, formerly Blair Academy of Blairstown, New Jersey, to become the number one team in the country. You guys were coached by Coach Mike Powell.
Yeah.
What did he mean for your career? How big of an influence was Mike Powell on your career?
Oh, he was a real big influence. It was just inspiring being coached by him every day. His attitude, his work ethic, and technique, everything about him. I mean, he's just a great coach. Couldn't ask for better.
Yeah. So, do you guys still keep in touch, or do you still keep in touch with the Oak Park program, and you follow them still what they're doing? I'll ask you that first.
Yeah, I got a lot of pride for that school. Yeah, it's just a lot of work getting put in, day in and day out. So, yeah, I still talk to Coach Paul every now and then. He just congrats or how you doing every now and then. But yeah, I mean,
they're doing great things.
Yeah,
and it's awesome to see because not that they weren't relevant, but you and your brother put them on the map. You know, you guys put in so much work to get to that. Not that it's that they're not putting in the work themselves, but just to get the recognition now. And after you and your brother left, it's just and to create a pipeline from Oak Park in Illinois to Minnesota is kind of, you're seeing that now in the effects of what you guys built at Oak Park now to what you're doing at Minnesota. And one example of that would be Larry Early. He's Oak Park guy coming to Minnesota next year. Have you had an opportunity to talk to Larry about coming to U of M?
Oh yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with the guy a lot. He's an unbelievable kid. His work ethic is crazy, and he just he lives wrestling, and that's what we need here at Minnesota. And it's great having another Oak Park guy here too.
So
come here.
So what information were you able to give him and pass down, because you've been successful at each level that you've competed at? So now what were you able to pass down to him just to make the transition a little easier on him from high school to college?
I didn't really talk about specifics. I've wrestled him since I've been in college. I've been over there, and he's been over here on a trip. And yeah, I mean, with the level of success and the level he's wrestling right now, it's just it'll come natural to him. His work ethic is out of this world, and it'll just come natural to him when he gets here and into that college level too.
Okay, so now you're at Oak Park College, your senior year, you win a state title, as I said. Now you're looking forward to college plans. We'll start with who was recruiting you coming out of high school? What schools, we'll just say top 3.
Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota, for sure.
And what were your choices? Were there specific schools? You being from Illinois, did you want to go to Illinois? Did you want to go to Northwestern? What schools were you looking at?
Yeah, those schools looked at me too, but yeah, me and my brother, we had a pretty open mind about picking colleges. I guess as soon as we came here on a visit, and that was our second visit, we we knew right away that it was the place we want to be, and just with the people we've met, the coaches, and just everything about the program was awesome. But yeah, I was kind of set on Nebraska. I hate to say it, but I was like almost committed when I went there, and I'm just glad I waited. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, you guys are in a great position, but that kind of leads me into my next question. And you mentioned you and your brother went on the recruiting trips together. Was there ever at a point in those recruiting trips where you said, he liked one place, you were leaning towards the other? Was there ever a point where you guys said, we might be going separate ways?
No, I mean we were in this together, and a lot of the coaches that recruited us knew that too. Um, but yeah, we uh we had I guess different attitude towards schools, and but we had to talk it over and go over what the positives and of our trips and what we thought about them, and Minnesota was just had more on that list of positives.
So you're speaking on that list of positives. What made you select Minnesota? Was it tradition? Because you guys have such a rich tradition. And not only do you have a rich tradition, but you have a rich tradition in lower weights in specific. Was it the workout partners? Was it the coaches? Was it facilities? Was it campus? What was it that made you select Minnesota?
Yeah, I'd say it was all those coaches, wrestlers, the partners like Zach Sanders and David Thorne, and coaches like Jay Robinson and Brandon Eggum and Luke Becker, and just having those guys and being around them for just even that short period of time throughout the weekend, like being around guys like Zach Sanders, and I looked up to him and I still do right now, and now that I think about it, I look back and spending a weekend with him was like, man, this is like this is kind of who I want to be. This is who I want to be with, and kind of like that set me there.
Yeah, just one of those feelings that you had. Just they always say you look for a home, and you just felt at home at Minnesota.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt comfortable there.
Okay, so you end up going to Minnesota, and you're still currently there. You're two-time All-American, and you're shooting for a national title. As I mentioned at the start of the show, you're undefeated on the season, ranked number 1, coming off the Big Ten title. How did you feel at the Big Ten championships?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Yeah, going in, you try not to make it any different than any other tournament you wrestled in. And yeah, I just was hungry to win, and I felt good on my feet, felt good on the mat, and everything just seemed to work out.
Now, this is something that a lot of people have been trying to, dissect. You and your brother are at 133, 140, or excuse me, 41 and 49 last year.
Yep.
You end up, you're a two-time All-American. You make the national tournament, but you don't All-American last year. Was this something that you knew you had to do in dropping down back to 133? Was it something that you knew you had to do in order for Minnesota to be competitive and win a national title?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it from not just an individual aspect, but a team aspect, and you got to. I guess it was something that I knew right away. Being at 41 was a decision we made as a team. We had many meetings last year about it, and that just was like that was the better for the team, and that was the decision we went with. But going down a weight, I also thought it was better for the team, but I also knew it was going to be better for myself because there were many guys at 33 that left from last year, and 33 just from the past years too, of me All-American twice. I knew that Going in, I was a lot stronger, and it was just more of a natural and comfortable weight for me to wrestle at.
All right. So the question was the infamous third day weigh-in. You've had many 2-day weigh-ins this season and many 2-day weigh-ins of your career. You've strived, as your record shows. How are you going to approach the third day weigh-in, and how are you going to treat it differently than you do for the second day weigh-in?
It's funny that you asked that because I was just thinking about it today, actually. And when I said comfortable weight class for me, it still hurts, and it's still a grind. I mean, I'm naturally kind of like 148 pounds or 150 pounds, so it sucks getting down to weight, but it's just like I'm wrestling my style, so I'm comfortable that way. But going to these multiple weigh-ins, I was thinking like a third day, man, that's gonna suck and stuff. But after, like, I'm just gonna the way I'm gonna approach that is just gut it out. I mean, I plan on being 4-0 by day 2, so it's that last weigh-in I should just gut it out and just know it's my last one, and I'll be relieved when that last weigh-in's done. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. And you might have potentially, if you do make, or excuse me, if Shop does make it and you guys end up meeting, you could be in the quarters. I believe he's a ninth seed or 5 seed. Either way, you guys could potentially meet in the quarters. How are you going to approach that match? Because you guys have wrestled many times already at the NCAA championships.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man. If you never know what happens to that point, but yeah, and you got to take one match at a time. But yeah, I've wrestled him in the quarterfinals before, and I've lost to him. So it's just I suppose it's nice knowing that I've wrestled him multiple times and knowing who to expect. But I'm not going to approach that match any different. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. I'll tell you that. It'll be good.
Oh, I'm excited to watch it. And you've been here 3 times. You've been to the NCAA 3 times. So the experience that you have is something that works with you in your favor. What have you learned at the NCAA championships that's going to help you carry over to take you to that next level?
I guess just being thankful that I'm there. I mean, and appreciating the moment. I'm not injury free by any means, but I feel good, and I'm just happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy to be at the national tournament one more time, and I just got to soak it in and make sure I'm wrestling with all I got, and know that try to not leave this one with any doubt.
Right. And is there a favorite moment that you've had in the NCAA championships, a nice win that you had, an All-American that you just – is there one moment that you really remember?
The one moment I really remember is I think it was Constellation Semis when I beat BJ Frutrell. He was up a lot. He was up a lot of points on me. I think it was like 7 or 8 points. And I ended up coming back and taking a few takedowns, and I ended up pinning him. And then I wrestled and then that was to go into the 3rd place match, and that one was just awesome for me.
Yeah, BJ Frutrell of Illinois, I wrestled him in the Big Ten championships my freshman year, so another good wrestler. So yeah. What a good win. You have a short time left in your career. You have, in your college career, literally 7 days, or I guess you would say 10 days with the NCAA finals. What's next? What are you planning on doing after college? Do you hope to coach? Do you hope just to open your own club? Are you going to get a job after?
Yeah, I mean, just continuing with the sport. I plan on wrestling in the spring and summer this year. U.S. Open is going to be right after. I think it's a couple weeks after. And just keep wrestling freestyle. Hopefully, make a world team and Olympic team. So this is like so that's the way I kind of look at it too. I mean, the national tournament, it's not going to be my last one, so you got to just treat it just like any other tournament, which it's going to be. So I got the U.S. Open right after, and then hopefully make a world team after that.
All right, so running the time here, so I want to get a couple quick fire questions in. These quick fire questions, just want a quick answer. You don't need to think about it, just right off the top of your head. Favorite thing to do when you're outside of wrestling?
Fish or hunt, play guitar.
Awesome. Favorite place to eat?
Whole Foods. I'm there like a couple of days a week. It's pathetic.
Really? We're getting one of those here in Michigan, and they just put up the building, and I heard the meats there are insane.
It's phenomenal. I spend too much money there. It's
really?
Horrible. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so take wrestling out of the picture, take athletics out of the picture, leave your brother wherever he's going. You have an opportunity to go to any school in the country, full ride, everything paid for. You don't have to pay a dime. Where are you going?
Somewhere warm, man. Probably Florida, I guess. Florida.
All right.
Florida State or something like that.
Okay, awesome. That would be one of my top choices as well. So that's been it for episode number 11 of the Second Caution. Chris, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I know your schedule is busy, just getting everything prepared for the NCAA tournament. So for everybody here at the Associated Wrestling Press, we wish you the best luck this weekend, and not only this weekend with your further endeavors. As long as you keep wrestling, we wish you luck.
Hey, no, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I really appreciate it. So for Chris Dardanes, number one 133-pounder in the country, I'm Eric Olenowski, and that's been it for episode number 11 of The Second Caution.